Hi guys. So I'm going to be talking, about the right hemisphere and the left hemisphere of the brain. And I'm sure you must have heard of this. You must have read of articles. Even if you have not done it, you must have heard people talking about it, right? I want to ask you a question. Does this really exist? I mean, is it true that there is something called right hemisphere and the left hemisphere, and the functions are different? I'll give you a minute. Think about it. 3, 2, 4, 1, 0. Of course, it's not a minute. But what I'm trying to tell you is yes, this is true. It's not a myth. There is a left hemisphere, there is a right hemisphere, right? And some people are more left dominant and than the others who are right dominant. Yes, this is very true. For example, I am right dominant. And I realize it when I read more about it as to why I'm right dominant. And those are some of the things that I'm going to be talking to you about. So it is not a myth. It is true. Some are left dominant, some are right dominant. And when does this all start? What decides the dominance is, you know what? It starts off right from the time that you're in the womb. And it is actually linked to the way the wiring of the spine, the neuropathways wiring starts off in the beginning when our spines develop. The way they wire to which side of the brain determines which side is dominant. Isn't it amazing? I found this really amazing. And why dominance? Why do we call, why do we use the word dominant? Because there is something called lateralization, which means that this refers to some brain functions taking place in one side rather than the other. So naturally, the way the wiring happens, the neuropathway wiring happens, there are certain functions that the left side does well, there are certain functions that the right side does well, and this is natural, okay, and it is scientific. So the left side of the brain controls the right side of the body, and the right side of the brain controls the left side of the body. Now, having said this, the cross wiring of the neuropathways it results in, if you are left-handed, for example, you rely on the right side of the brain, and if you are right-handed, you rely on the left side of the brain. Did you know that? I did not know it. Of course, when I was doing this, I got to know it, because you generally think that if you're right-handed, it is right. If you're left-handed, it is left. No. If you're left-handed, actually, you rely on the right side of the brain. And if you are right-handed, then you rely on the left side of the brain. So, what are the actual differences? Like you see there in the slide, the differences are there that left is more logical and right is more imaginative. So analysis, logic, ideas, facts, math, training, all would come in the left. Okay, and in the right side, there is creativity, there's intuition, there's arts, creation, feeling, and imagination. I'm definitely, I'm combination of both, but I'm more inclined to the right, is what I would say. There are tests to decide which side of your brain is more dominant. So the actual differences, if you see, of the left and the right, to elaborate it a little more, is that the left, you think in the form of word forms, or probably facts and numbers. You require a lot of details. Putting all the details together to form a whole picture is how you would look at things. If you're right brain dominant, then you think in image form, like, pictures, dreams, maybe stories, like, and so you're very intuitive naturally, and you look at the bigger picture of things. You don't like to really get into the details of things. Now, one thing that we need to remember is nothing is better than the other. You need to have a combination of both. And in this series of right and left hemisphere of the brain, the next video that I'm going to be talking to you about is the house. Okay? So if you've understood the differences, please like the video, subscribe to my channel. Look at the next video, which talks about the house of the brain, how language, how music, and do add in your comments, like and subscribe. Thank you so much.